Hello and welcome to B6 Brain and Mind Revision Guide for Year 10 students. So, you may be asking, where do I start? What do I revise? The internet can help you, but usually it gives you some sort of ad and you end up playing video games. So this is basically all the aspects of B6 bundled together for you to watch. The first thing I would like to talk about is simple reflexes. You get simple reflexes from a very young age, which are designed to help us survive. For example, the rooting reflex is used to aid in the feeding process at a young age. It forces the baby to turn its head when you touch its cheek. This combined with the sucking reflex, which forces the baby to suck when something is in its mouth, can help the baby to feed. Almost every animal does this as well. The righting reflex for cats allows it to land on its feet when dropped. Now we're going to go on to the human nervous system. First thing I'm going to talk about is the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is made out of the brain and the spine, whereas the peripheral nervous system is made out of the nerve fibres. The nervous system detects stimuli such as light, sounds, temperature, pressure, pain, and coordinates the body's response. For example, if you smell something burning, your nose, the receptor, detects the stimulus, the smell. You might be asked what a neuron looks like, so we're quickly going to go over that, just in case you are asked. This is a neuron, and basically we're going to go through what each thing is. So, in the middle, there is the axon, clearly labelled. The axon is kind of like that wire that goes all the way from the cell body all the way down to the synapses. It's not labelled, but these will connect. Just at the ends, they'll connect to more of the dendrites, as you can see up at the top. What they have put in this picture is myelin sheath, but it's okay to put fatty sheath. Basically that's an insulator to stop any electrical impulses going into different areas. Just like you'd put a wire, if you have two wires which were bare, they'd obviously transmit information into each other. Anyway, as it is a cell, there is a nucleus, as you can see in the middle, and the dendrites connect to synapses from other nerve cells, which allows a whole chain to be created. Now we're going to talk about the synapses. The synapses are quite interesting because there is a gap in between the synapse and the next neuron. And inside the synapses, serotonin is made. And when a potential action comes from the kind of head of the neuron, it goes all the way down the axon and it goes to the synapse, where the information is put onto the serotonin. The serotonin is fired into something called the synaptic cleft, or the gap in between the two neurons, and is put into a receptor where the information is passed. After that, the serotonin degrades and is taken up to be recycled. And in the other neuron, where the information has been given, it will do the exact same thing, going down the axon and into the synapses again. So we're going to talk about drugs and the effect it has on our synapses. So of course drugs can affect our synapses in many different ways, increasing or decreasing your reaction time. That's why, you know, they don't allow you to drink drive, because you have a less reaction time, so you can't really swerve out the way. But drugs can affect your synapses by increasing the number of impulses. So if you're taking something like cocaine, you're going to have more impulses. Blocking the reuptake, or blocking the receptors, meaning that you can have faster or longer or slower or stronger reactions. Producing more or less neurotransmitter, which obviously is going to increase the amount of impulses you get, or even preventing any neurotransmitter being released. I hope you understand everything I have been talking about so far in this revision guide. Before we move on to the next thing, if you are unsure about anything, please go over the video again and see if there's anything you missed out. We're going to go over behaviours and how they can be changed. The example I'm going to be using is Pavlov's dog. So the story of Pavlov's dog is that Pavlov had some dogs. They were young, not too young, but their minds had not fully developed. This meant that their behaviour could change quite easily. Whenever Pavlov fed his dogs, he rung a bell. So in the minds of the dogs, they associated ringing the bell to food. This meant that whenever Pavlov rung the bell, the dogs would expect food. Now, he did this, and obviously when you start to eat, you will salivate to, you know, aid in the breaking down of the food. So when he rung the bell, he found out that the dogs would salivate, and so he had changed the behaviour of a dog to whenever a bell is being rung, that dog will salivate. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions to test your knowledge on what I have taught you. Question number 1. Explain how potential actions get from one neuron to the next. Question number 2. Explain how Pavlov got dogs to salivate when he rung a bell. Third and final question. Give me 2 examples of reflexes that you use as a baby. Thank you for watching this revision video. I don't think it has included everything, and some things may not be up to the exact detail, but there are many different websites you can use to get this information, such as BBC Bitesize and 21st Century Science, or the OCR website.